Hello, welcome back to another edition of Avidgolfer Magazine's Drive Time feature. This month, we talk about opulence, we talk about space, we talk about performance, yes. We just talk about sheer technology, fit, finish. This is the luxury edition. This is the flagship brand of Lexus. It's the 2021 Lexus LS 500. Thanks to Park Place, Lexus in Grapevine and Plano for the use of this vehicle. It's really got everything you want. It's an ultra cruise mobile. It's library quiet, still has enough performance, but it has space for days. Materials are as opulent as you'd ever want. So let's take a closer look at the 2021 Lexus LS 500. All right, let's take a look at this beauty from the outside. One thing about Lexus is they're getting very swoopy with their lines, more aggressive grille. I like it because you can still have all the luxury, but when you walk up to the car, you kind of want to smile a little bit. And these have gotten very big. A lot of other manufacturers are copying this. They're going this big wide grille. It's all blacked out. I like this. The headlights are excellent at night. The high beams are terrific. It also has real airfoils through here, so it helps cool the brakes and gives you a little more aerodynamics. It's a very slippery ride. Still see some chrome here, which is kind of a Lexus deal, but all in all, front end, I really like it. All right, let's take a look at the wide angle appearance of this car. I think it is gorgeous. Let's start off with the paint. Nobody does paint like Lexus. This is called Caviar Dark, but it has this flake through here that is just gorgeous. I mean, reflects the sun, shimmers a little bit. I think this is fantastic, and it has just about all the colors. Caviar. It's, again, luxury, high-end, right? If you look down here, they have 20-inch, these are called Vapor Chrome wheels. I'm old school. I like chrome. I'm not big on the blacked out look, but you know, to each his own. I just think this is really pretty, though. And since it's Japanese, probably doesn't have a lot of brake dust as well. Now, if you move more towards the side, see how low slung this is. Very low roof line. Everything kind of swoops back. It's very simple on the sides, but I still think elegant. You have a little chrome trim down here. That looks very good. If you open and close this door, it's a soft close. So you can, it'll just catch and it'll close in on itself. And if you open up and close the door, you'll also, the whole body will raise and lower to allow for easier access and exit. So if we move back here, a lot of windows. There's hardly any blind spots in this vehicle. It has a little bit of a lip back here, but by and large, I just think it's gorgeous. I just think it has a presence to it. And when you open up the trunk, it has a lot of room in here. It's about almost 17 cubic feet of trunk space. You can fit a lot of luggage. The only downside, and you see how wide this is, easily fit a set of golf clubs in there. The only thing you want to be aware of, the seats do not fold down. So what you get is what you see right here. Again, pretty good ample room. You have dual exhaust in the rear. And everybody's kind of going to that trapezoid type look, and but I always like dual exhaust. I think almost every car has it these days. And LED lights in the front, in the back. They shut very nicely at night. Again, you can see all the chrome trim outlining the windows and the door handles. I think it just exudes upscale. I just think it looks great. Especially with the tinted windows. Looks good in a lot of colors. They have a red that looks incredible as well. All right, as beautiful as the outside looks, the exterior of this Lexus LS 500, what screams luxury is the interior. What's the materials like? What's the feel like? What is the tech like? How much does this coddle you in luxury? The LS 500 does it in so many ways. So In the back seat here, a lot of leg room, more than I'll ever need. I could sit here on a 600-700 mile journey, and I could just fall asleep back here, never have a problem at all. The seats are excellent and very comfortable. There's really no high spot or anything like that to worry about. The center console will come down from here, and you have a bunch of controls. You can heat up the seats. You can also put up this rear sunshade, so if there's too much sun getting on you, that's right there. So that's not bad. Again, luxury. Here's another cool thing. If I'm sitting in the right side rear seat, I can hit this button and it'll move the seat forward, give me some more leg room, and if I want to, I can even fold it down or up. That's really cool too. Won't do it if there's a passenger in there, obviously, but it's a nice option. All this fit and finish here, this wood is gorgeous. The contrasting stitching, the way these contrasting lines swoop around, this is what they call aniline, semi-aniline leather, and that's really cool too. Other than that, again, you're sitting in the back seat, it's all you want. You have a couple speakers here, you have reading lights here, and you also have your own vanity mirrors. Look at that. So again, in the back seat, you are coddled in pure luxury. Okay, let's check out the front seat, specifically the driver's side, because that's where I like to live. Lexus has thought of a lot of creature comforts for the driver. Let's start off with the engine. The engine is a 3.5 liter, 6-cylinder, 416 horsepower, 442 pound-feet of torque. So it's capable. It'll get you anywhere you want to go in quick order, but it's library quiet. So people like that. People like to drive in peace. This is the car for them. Let's start off with the seats. The seats are heated and cooled, and they work in quick order. I mean, it gets warm fast, it gets cool fast, and it's real cold air, not just ventilated. This actually air conditions your back and your bum when it's hot outside, especially here in Texas. Like the steering wheel, very soft leather. They did put some wood inserts in here for looks. I like it because it's on the inside. So if you're in a hot area, this leather doesn't get nearly as warm as these polished wood inserts. Well, they used to have it on the top, and man, that thing got hot. But like this, you're perfectly good. All your usual controls on here for menu, for volume control. We'll get into the instrumentation here in a second. But everything is just nicely laid out. I like these swooping lines is the order of the day here in Lexus, and I like to have this all kind of comes around. Everything is just nice and flowing. Kind of gives you this this zen feel about it. You have 3 driver settings on your seat. You also have it on the passenger side. Good stuff there. And you have all your controls here, the usual. And you can raise or lower it. It's got a power tilt steering wheel. That's always a good thing. What's interesting is normally you'll have your modes, your drive modes on the console. They've kind of cleaned up the console here, so everything is somewhere else. This is now for if you want to put it in driving mode, that's normal. If I want to put it in sport, it turns red. Then I put it in Sport Plus, it just changes the motif a little bit. I like that. I can also change the information in here. It just goes around. I can turn things on, off. So I like to keep it on where how many miles I have left. By the way, it gets 29 on the freeway, 19 on the street. I got 31 on the freeway, and I was driving pretty spirited too. Again, a lot of polished wood here. This is that semi-aniline, what they call aniline leather. As you can see, you can put it in the opposite direction. It kind of changes color. Again, opulence. It's just pure opulence. Got a nice little sunroof here. You can also get a panoramic roof in the back. In addition to that, this has the luxury package. It costs about 12 grand. If you want the ultimate, the executive package, that's about 17, but you can recline the rear seats, and you can actually get bucket seats too, and a little ottoman comes out. That's really neat. So again, if you're the type of person that checks all the boxes, This car has it for you, and that'll bring the price in, you know, like 115, 120,000, somewhere around there. Okay, let's talk about the infotainment. So Lexus is real big on not using a control knob like other manufacturers do. It has a touch screen right here, or actually a trackpad. Touch screen's up here. So trackpad's right here. I can move this thing around, and I can just press it down like you would on a Mac or a PC, and that brings me up to one destination as far as the nav goes. I can go back. I can go to my audio. It'll tell me which source I want. I can also get to the Mark Levinson sound system. Here is a worthy upgrade. It's orchestra hall quality. I mean, if you're listening to talk radio, it doesn't matter what you're listening on, but if you want to listen to music, it is superb, and I think it's worth the $1,900 if you're an audiophile. As far as other things are concerned, you have, let's get back to normal here, and I can do the climate, and I can change the settings here. I can also do this. I can change the rear seat. I can change the steering. As far as the steering wheel, it has a heated steering wheel. I can move that up. That's for cooling. This is for heat. Come on now. Yeah, there you go. Takes a little while to get used to this, but it's not a deal killer at all. Now, the stick shift is a little interesting. So you have your park. That makes sense. If I want to put it in drive, I don't pull it down. See, it doesn't do anything. I have to move it over and pull it down. Not sure why, but that's what you got to do. If I want to do reverse, same thing. If I want to go into sport, now I can put it here. Now I can shift here, or I can use the sport paddles. Again, it's nicely laid out. I don't mind it. This is the best part. Okay, so simplicity sometimes is better than any technology. Listen to me closely. Every manufacturer needs to do this. So what I don't like, when I have to hit a lot of unnecessary buttons and so forth to get to something as easy as my audio. Okay, so here I can turn up the sound
behind him.
That, or I can also change the stations. So if I go back to AM, let's say, and I want to change the stations, it's all right here. I don't have to keep on hitting a darn dial or anything, or a screen. I love that. Everybody needs to do this. Very simple and easily accessible. It's really cool. Other than that, it's the camera is over here, so I can change this in a bunch of different modes. I love this. This is the 360 overhead. It's a big car. It's 206 inches long. So that's what gives you all the room, gives you all the trunk space, the back seat room, and so forth. But I like to see when I'm trying to drive into a parking space, I like to see exactly where I'm going. It also has a reverse, so I want to do this. Pretty decent resolution. At least I can see where I'm going. And if I want to, back up, it also gives me the sight lines where I'm going to maybe possibly hit an obstacle or not. That's cool. And then it also has a head-up display, which comes out. It's a 24-inch head-up display. It has your miles per hour. It'll have the speed limit notice. So if you're going too fast, it gives you the direction. If I have it nav, it'll give me a step-by-step on directions. Again, everything to keep your eyes on the road. Eyes on the road is the first and foremost thing. And I think Lexus did a really, really good job with that. As far as anything else, this is kind of cool. This is your center console. Not only opens this way, but it also opens that way. So if the passenger needs to get something, it's pretty good, right? I like it. It doesn't go back, but that's okay. It goes one way or the other. It's got a decent amount of room. Now, one thing this car does not have, curiously, I'm not sure why, in this price range, does not have a wireless charging pad. So I can't just put my phone down somewhere and have it wirelessly charge. I have to hook it up via USB port. So that's kind of interesting. It's got pretty good, it's got some cup holders like anything else. But again, I just love the materials. I love the contrasting stitching. And when you get in, you just feel like, this is just fabulous. So there you go. That's the interior. I think if you get in it, you'll be smitten. All right, let's take this thing for a spin. The LS500. Again, a lot of creature comforts in here. But how does it drive? Well, it drives like it feels. It drives like it floats. Not in a bad way. I mean, you still have handling and so forth. But for people who gravitate toward these cars, they want a peaceful drive. They don't want a big engine noise. They don't want something that pops and gurgles and everything else. They just want to cruise. They want to listen to their favorite music or whatever. They don't want to get jostled a lot. And on these roads in here in North Texas, which have potholes galore, this one soaks it up like a sponge. I mean, the brakes are great, but it has more than enough power. Again, 416 horsepower, 442 pound-feet of torque, and it'll scoot. That's not a problem. It's more of a comfort feature than high-end performance where you want that visceral whatever feedback. This is just a cruise. I can drive this forever, not get tired. Also has massaging seats, very nice. And what I tend to do is if I was gonna, it has 5 different settings. It has eco, normal or comfort, then sport and sport plus. It also has custom. What I would do with this car is I would keep everything standard, the suspension, the acceleration, everything, but I would tighten up the they went through a red light. It does tighten up the steering, which I do like. Gives me a little more feels like I have a little more control. But again, you're not gonna go all out with this car. You're not gonna take a bunch of tight turns and so forth. This is a cruise mobile. There's other ample Lexus brand cars, the LCs, for instance, that you can get your sport mode on and have all the fun you want. This is all about comfort and massaging, and all the materials feel great, and a lot of visibility. Huge windows in this thing. Even on the side windows, again, there really isn't a blind spot on this car. Now, if I put this in Sport Plus, let's see how this thing, I'm gonna punch it. You can hear it a little bit. Not bad. Not bad at all. Just a little bit of engine noise, just to get your blood pumping a little bit. This goes, this is a 4,900 pound car, and it can go 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds. That's crazy. The technology these days and how much power they can get out of a inline 6, V6, 4-cylinder. It's crazy, but the feel's great. I really can't find an uncomfortable position at all. Again, it's long, it's 206 inches. So if you have a kind of a shallow garage, you might want to ask to take this home first to make sure it fits, just be on the safe side. But this is really all you want for a car of this magnitude, of this price range. And again, all the materials, everything screams like, all right, I'm doing okay. Doing okay, and everybody that I drive around is going to be mucho okay. It's all good stuff. And I'll make a quick U-turn here to show you. We'll see how the turning radius is. Again, in a big car like this, you should be okay, but it does have a very long wheelbase, and I just want to make sure that is all good. It also has auto hold, one of my favorite features in a car. I can take my foot off the brake, and I'm stationary. Pretty good. So let me see. Wow, that's a really good turning radius. It only took me 1 lane. But it feels very planted. Even in Sport Plus, again, everything tightens up a little bit, but not so much you're cranking and you feel like you're gonna feel every bump. Even in Sport Plus mode with the suspension, it has an air suspension, so it does soak up the bumps incredibly well. Even that was a pretty decent pothole. Barely felt it. And so it gives you a little more feel, a little more feedback, but not so much that you're gonna go, oh my, I would never want to be in this. Just gives you a little extra power, if you're into that. If not, go back to a normal or comfort, and it's really all you want. A lot of headroom. Again, you can get a panoramic roof on this. You can get the executive package, which gives you reclining rear seats, has a little ottoman that comes up, and massaging. I mean, you can take this thing to as much as you want to spend. But for the person that likes to check all the boxes, you will not be disappointed, really, in taking this car home and putting it through the paces. Pretty good gas mileage, like I said, 29 and 19. I was getting about, I think about 24 overall. And you just got to be careful when you're driving. It's 80 miles an hour hits you pretty quick. So if you're not paying attention, because it doesn't feel like 80 miles an hour. It feels like you're just cruising. So good thing they have a speedometer gauge in there on your head-up display. So right now I'm going 41. Speed limit says 35. And again, it's really all you want. Lexus did a really good job competing against its German rivals. Sometimes you think the German rivals maybe are a little more performance-oriented, but if you're into this type of category where it's utter luxury, it's a stretched, almost like a limo. It's a stretched chassis, so you can put people in the back and they'll love you for days because they're not going to be eating their knees anytime soon. And pretty good headroom in the back seat too, even with the panoramic roof. It's got good, you know, Lexus reliability. So if you're looking for a car that's in this category, ultimate luxury, ultimate comfort, space, cargo carrying, everything else, you want to put this on your wish list. At least give it a test drive to see what you think, and there you go. So there you have it, folks. It's the Lexus 2021 LS500, the flagship model in its fleet. It's got everything. It's got space, it's got ultra luxury materials, it's got tech, it cruises like a cloud. It is just the awesome ultimate luxury vehicle. This thing starts out at about $76,000. This one's appointed to about $88,000. You can go up even higher than that. You start putting some of these executive packages on it and everything. But if you want cruising opulence, you want cruising luxury, you want cruising, I use opulence and luxury a lot because that's what this car is. It's just, we just sit in the lap of luxury in this. Again, I want to thank Hard Place, Lexus in Grapevine and Plano for the use of the vehicle. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page. And until next time, safe driving.